A senior doctor strongly objects to the Employers Federation's position that doctors grant sick leave loosely. A local government reform bill to be presented to Cabinet in the next 2 months, and the Minister for Tourism confident his request for an increased marketing budget will be approved. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details after this. First up, a senior medical doctor believes the Dominica Employers Federation is out of order in trying to suggest that the doctors here loosely grant sick leave to their working patients. In a recent press release, the Employers Federation expressed concern over the high volume of sick leave granted to employees over a 7-year period from 2010 to 2016. The press release, titled "A Well-Oiled Sick Leave Mill," states that in 2016, nearly 99,000 sick days were claimed, with over 9,000 sick leave certificates registered to Social Security and employers.
So, but I think they're treading on dangerous ground that they should not have any reason, or they shouldn't have any business there. The other thing that I found about the press release that was disturbing, and it was a little bit of sensationalism and designed to skew the public's opinion in their favor and against doctors. Now, when you say a doctor gives, let's say, 9,800 sick days for a year, then you say 26.8 years. Now, I mean, come on, why do you have to put 26.8 years? When somebody hears a doctor gives 26.8 years of sick leave, you think, but Jesus, what kind of doctor is that?
In other news, Local Government Commissioner John Fontaine is expecting a local government reform bill to be presented to Cabinet within the next 2 months. Local government practitioners were updated on the status of local government reform when they met at a consultation on Wednesday. Local Government Commissioner John Fontaine told Channel 5 News the consultant's report has been submitted to the relevant ministry.
The Permanent Secretary, the Minister, has been apprised. There are some minor amendments, and as you heard from Dalka this morning, they too have some submissions that they want to make before this thing goes to Cabinet. So give and take, maybe within the next 2 months, we hope that this long-last effort can go to Cabinet, and we can have some fruitful recommendations that we can take the system forward.
Next up, the Tourism Minister, Robert Tongue, has announced intentions to make a case for increasing the tourism marketing budget. Tongue, who addressed a news conference of the Discover Dominica Authority on Wednesday, said he was confident that the ministry's request would be approved.
The tourism master plan basically states that you need between $8 million to about $12 million to achieve our medium-term growth strategy of about 5% growth in tourism. This year, we're pushing the limit to ask for a lot more. What is important is that if you can show that we're moving in the right direction, I'm positive that the Ministry of Tourism will get the support it requires to continue pushing the limits to get the best results for Dominica and for people in Dominica.
Since last year, Discover Dominica Authority has been working with an increased $8.5 million budget to market the destination.
In 2014, we had a budget of $4 million. In 2015, government increased it to $6 million. In 2016, it was increased to $8.5 million. Again, not just being done randomly, it is being done to try to ensure that we meet our medium-term growth strategy based on the master plan. Pillars of tourism: awareness, marketing, access, and the experience. So we're working on the awareness, so making more people aware of Dominica. We have the funds now to do better marketing and more targeted marketing to get persons who want to come to Dominica.
Meantime, Tongue has also announced a new airline originating from the Dominican Republic, which has added Dominica to its itinerary.
Air access still continues to be a challenge, but again, we are working with as many airlines as possible to come to Dominica. Just today, I saw another new airline that is going to be providing services from the Dominican Republic to Dominica.
On to the state prison now, where plans are underway to beef up security. Superintendent of the Prison Service, Kenrick Jean-Jacques, says they're in the process of developing a buffer zone around the stock farm compound.
See, we're doing physical reform. We have the buffer zone, and we've been speaking about that for a little while. Currently, we're really pushing some work on the buffer, and we hope to do the buffer around the entire perimeter. It will assist us in terms of responding to any threats in our environment, and just to make us feel a lot safer.
A new administrative building under renovation at the state prison will also include new surveillance equipment. And from the prison to the courts, the trial to determine the fate of murder-accused Rudy Jr. Jones of Marigot began on Thursday at the High Court. He is charged in connection with the August 2012 stabbing death of Falcon Wallace in Marigot. It is reported that Wallace sustained a stab wound to his lower abdomen during a dispute with the accused. Jones is being represented by Attorney-at-Law David Bruni, while the prosecution's case is being presented by Fenilia Felix. Justice Victoria Charles Clark is presiding. You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, Mother's Day is around the corner. We'll tell you what the Prime Minister's wife has been doing. Thank you for staying with us. Key teachers and principals around Dominica will be selected for comprehensive training organized by the Canadian Teachers Federation. This as relations between the CTF and Dominica Association of Teachers continue to deepen to the benefit of those in the teaching profession.
We got a request from the Canadian Teachers Federation for us to do some instructional leadership training for our key teachers and principals sometime in 2018. So they have just sent the proposal to us, so we are just going to have to discuss it with the Ministry of Education, because it's going to be something very comprehensive, which will involve the ministry and ourselves.
In this instance, education professionals from 2 districts will be selected to participate in this leadership training program.
We are looking at 2 districts, that is the 2 education districts, the Eastern and the Southern. So we are still working on that. But the request, I suppose, would have to send information because the board meets in December. So they would have to take a decision on that if we were to implement it sometime in January or February.
In the last 40 years, the CTF and the DAT collaborated to host various development workshops for teachers. In other news now, the Dominica Association of Local Community Authorities is satisfied that the issue of convicts contesting local government elections will be addressed in the revised local government reform legislation. Chairman of the Association of Local Community Authorities, Yolan John Jewell, says he is pleased that the process to reform local government went back to the drawing board after a first consultancy was done.
Well, what happened before, the first proposal was prepared by some Jamaican, and that was not effective. And to me, I went through it myself, and I think the things that we as Dominicans can do, that foreign agencies or our own people look at foreigners to come and help us to do. When we do it as local people, we do a better job because we are on the ground and we know the process, we know the ground, we know the people, and we know what we're about. But the foreigner who comes to help you to do a proposal, they come to you for the information and they go back and prepare what you tell them. So why not make we that know what we want, do it? So that is why Mr. John Charles had to go back, almost do everything over.
There is one particular matter concerning council elections which concerns Jules, which he says the changes to the local government law will deal with.
For instance, when it comes to village councils, you have election of councillors. But there is nothing preventing presently a criminal, a known criminal, to contest village council elections. Then when you go further down in the village council ordinances, you have things that can deal with a sitting councillor that becomes a criminal, but there's nothing to prevent a criminal from contesting elections. But in the local government reform, we would like to block the criminals from contesting village council elections. If you have been found guilty of some felony, you have served prison time, there are councillors that serve prison time. And these are the things that were left out from the reform. These are some of the things, not all. But I think presently we are well on our way. We have almost completed everything, and it is with the minister.
John Jules says Dalka will know whether it will have to make further submissions on local government reform once it completes its strategic plan.
We are presently doing two things. We are reviewing our constitution, and we are putting a new strategic plan in place. And we want every country in the Caribbean with associations, we want our strategic plan to be a par with the Caribbean Association of Local Government strategic plan. And everybody's saying in their ideas, and then we are going back with Mr. Samuel Carrett, who's going to assist us to put the strategic plan in place. We are working on it today, we are working on it tomorrow, we are working on it every day, and it will be completed very soon.
The Prime Minister's recent meeting with farmers in Salisbury focused on much more than just farm access roads. Prime Minister Skerritt also addressed concerns over the issue of distribution of inputs in the Salisbury area, which some say has become political.
After Erica, I saw the extension officers going to the farms. Yeah. Well, one come for distribution of inputs, it became political. I am the PAL rep, I don't want to get involved in it. Allow the Ministry of Agriculture for the office in Salisbury deal with that. It's a serious concern.
The point is, there are different sources of fertilizer. With regards to BAM fertilizer, European Union fertilizer, nobody in the Caribbean, including the Prime Minister, has any role to play in the distribution of BAM fertilizer. But you can't tell a government that it has no right, or power, no right to give fertilizer to farmers who are planting.
The Prime Minister, who has been a member of a farmers group in Penville for some time now, encouraged farmers in Salisbury to organize themselves. He believes that kind of organization can be beneficial in terms of acquiring farm inputs at reduced cost.
Because I have had a farmers group in my own constituency in Penville since 2006, and it's working very well. And we did a farmers group in many parts of the country, so it's good for you to organize it, so that we could give you some funding where you'll now be able to buy inputs for the members and sell it to them at a highly concessionary rate. So the government will give you the money, you buy it and sell it to members. For you to benefit, you should be a registered member. You pay $5 to register and to become a member, or $10, whatever you agree on. So that we put money into your hands in the farmers group, and then you will be responsible for the distribution of the inputs to your membership. Understand? So once you have established that farmers group, you write to me directly, and I will come and see you at an appropriate date.
Mr. Skerritt again urged farmers to take advantage of a $10 million loan facility at the Aid Bank. He offered to invite the Aid Bank representatives to meet with Salisbury farmers to discuss the facility. Question of markets for farmers' produce, the Prime Minister said the issue was not whether markets exist, but whether we can sustain them.
We just entered into an agreement with St. Vincent, right? A U.S. firm requires 5 containers of dashing on a weekly basis. It's a weekly basis, right? 5 containers. St. Vincent is only able to supply 2 containers. So the Minister of Agriculture came here and we have engaged discussions and so forth. And this is why you have seen on GIS and on the radio the announcements about farmers who are growing dashing and so forth to register with the extension officers. Because we need to be able to come with about 3 containers of dashing. That is outside, and that is in addition to the contract which Dexter has for the supply of dashing.
And the people of Salisbury were scheduled to hold a Remembrance Day activity Thursday evening, commemorating the 2nd anniversary of protest action over farm access roads back in 2015. The Remembrance Day activity was expected to include speeches, solidarity messages and thanksgiving. Back in 2015, protest action to draw attention to poor road conditions in Salisbury escalated into roadblocks, which negatively impacted business and regular commuters along the west coast. The confrontation between police and protesters which followed resulted in dozens of arrests for alleged involvement in the 2015 protest. More than 40 individuals are still before the courts.
42 members of our communities were before the court. Let's call it an entire community was taken to court, you know. And something that is very interesting, the last set of people that had to go before the court was on the 25th of August 2015. And that sent a very loud message to each and every one of us. No one is greater than the Almighty. And the people of Salisbury, we are still there. We still have to meet our legal expenses, and we are doing that for our people, for Dominica, because taking an entire village before the court is that you have sent a message to us that you do not want to hear us. We have to listen to you, and that will not work for us as a people. I think we elect governments there to represent our best interests, and where the genuine concerns, I think government has to get off the high horses and meet with the people, and that is what we would like to see happen going forward. That's why we welcome the government to meet with the farmers of Salisbury.
John believes Salisbury has played a key role in promoting democracy in Dominica.
The Salisbury Declaration was signed by Patrick John in 1970, I think it's August 29, 1976, when we were saying that we're going to achieve independence, and 2 years later, Dominica gained independence. So democracy started Salisbury, independence started Salisbury, so it will always be a very independent, hardworking, respectful community.
And 6 first-time mothers have been gifted with care packages from the Melissa Skerritt Foundation to help them care for their newborn babies. This as Melissa Skerritt, wife of Prime Minister Skerritt, paid a special visit to the Stronach ward, that is the maternity ward of the Princess Margaret Hospital, ahead of Mother's Day on Sunday.
I'm here to celebrate Mother's Day with the new mothers and also congratulate them. I did it last year, and I plan to make this a yearly thing. Okay, to me it was touching because all the mothers here were first-time moms, and you know, I know that they will definitely make use of everything they have given because they're all basic essentials, and having a new baby is so much that comes along with it. And so I'm really happy that they are happy about it, and that hopefully I brighten up their day, and they'll have a happy Mother's Day.
Mrs. Skerritt also visited the Dominica Infirmary to spread cheer to the mothers there.
I'm here today to spread some joy to the mothers here at the infirmary in Roseau, and just to celebrate life and celebrate all the selfless acts that they have put into raising our children, into raising us, into raising this generation. And so I'm here to celebrate with you Mother's Day, which is on Sunday. I decided I would like to have lunch with you. And so I brought you lunch and a little token that you could put on your bedside table.
Mrs. Skerritt also took the opportunity to call on the Dominican public to cherish and respect mothers.
Appealing to everybody to honor your mothers on this Mother's Day. Maybe you may not be able to provide her with something that requires financial assistance, but it's your time. It's really your time spent with them, caring for them, speaking to them, showing them love. And usually on my visits, when I visit the elderly, this is one of my favorite programs that I run under the Melissa Skerritt Foundation. And I enjoy it because I sit and I talk to them, and they have their whole life story to tell. They have marriage advice. You know, it's very interesting. And so I just appeal to everybody this Mother's Day, honor your mother.
That's news. Sports next with Kenny Williams.
We begin with cricket. West Indies found renewed vigour to bowl Pakistan out for 376 runs on the second day and scored 14 runs without the loss of any wickets at the end of day 2 on Thursday. Resuming on 169 for 2, Azhar Ali added 42 to reach 127 on the second day. Pakistan skipper Misbah-ul-Haq came in and added 59 and Safraz Ahmed 51. A re-energized West Indies bowling attack saw the likes of Ruston Chase with 4 for 103, Jason Holder 3 for 71, Devendra Bishu 2 for 61, and Alzari Joseph 1 for 64. Despite his best bowling effort, Shannon Gabriel finished the day with 0 wickets in hand after 32 overs. At the end of the second day, West Indies trailed by 362 runs with 10 wickets remaining in the first innings.
Yeah, it was a good performance for me, picking up 4. Would have loved to I've got that 5 for, but it didn't happen. But we got the 10 wickets that we were looking for. So yeah, it was a good performance, a good fighting by the boys today. As we saw from the Pakistan innings, the track seems like a good one to bat on. So hopefully the guys will back the preparation and believe in themselves, and hopefully we can overcome this target or even get close to it and put ourselves in a good position in this test match. Any batsman going out there, a century is always the great goal that you're looking for. But once I can do what is required of me for the team, if it may be 100, a 50, a quick 50, or just batting time, whatever the team needs from me, I'll be looking forward to doing for the team.
Scoring 100 in a test match is always pleasing. And at the end, you know, we got in a situation where we put runs on the board, so that's really important if you bat first. So at this moment, we're looking for use that advantage. It will be hard work, obviously, because as you seen, wicket is quite flat, but the only difficulty is it's hard to score runs on it because the outfield is very slow. So we would obviously try and bowl in good channels and in good areas, and obviously the wickets will come, and try and restrict them in the first inning as low as we can. So obviously they have to bat last, so hopefully we can utilize that.
In basketball, action continues in the 2017 Flow DABA League with 2 matches on Friday. At 7, Lindo Park X-Men 2 will be looking to hold the dominant position when they come up against LA Knights. Then at 9, it will be the much-anticipated match between Detroit Blazers and PSC Falcons 1. Both games are carded for the Massac Hard Court. Meantime, the 2017 Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-15 Boys Basketball Championships will be up for grabs as the 2016 champion St. John's Academy will not be defending their title. Previously, the boys' competition was organized as a festival. However, this year, the games will be in a league format. 6 teams have confirmed their participation in the league, namely Dominica Grammar School, Pierre Charles Secondary, St. Mary's Academy, Northeast Comprehensive, as well as the Portsmouth and Isaiah Thomas Secondary Schools. The games are scheduled to begin on Friday at the Dominica Grammar School at 3, with the first match between DGS and PSS. Next up, one national cyclist will get a chance to assess his readiness ahead of the OECS Cycling Championships later this year. Bram Sanderson is said to be one of Dominica's most promising athletes who can make a dent on the regional cycling scene. He leaves for St. Vincent on Friday to take part in a 70-mile race.
This is my opportunity to know where exactly I stand as a competitor. I have never been involved in a regional race, so I'm very opportune at this moment, and I want to thank Mr. Ronald Charles and specifically for being behind me to let this happen for this weekend. He has been working tirelessly to allow me and I think one other athlete. My hopes are high based on my training schedule, what I've done, what I've put in so far. I don't know exactly where I stand, as I said, but continuous effort of work that I've been putting into training, I think it's going to be very promising on the weekend. I hope to get a little bit of rest tomorrow, and Friday when I fly, I hope to be as confident and relaxed as possible so that when I get into the race on Sunday, I have no fears. I'll go in and the sky's the limit for me and my country.
Sanderson says he's ensuring that he puts in the necessary work ahead of the 2017 OECS Championship.
In terms of preparation, I am on the road at 5 in the morning practically every day for 6 days a week, and one day in that week is my rest day. If I don't complete at least, I'll be honest with you, 50 to 60 miles per day, I usually do 25 in the morning and I'll complete at least 25 to 30 miles in the afternoon. It's my requirement. The president, who was the one who trained us recently, Mr. Bailey, he's the one who actually liaises with me off and on and tell me what exactly I should be doing and what days I should be doing what, if it's hills or if it's flat, if it's runs, if it's intervals. So I've been consistent since he left. I've never get off the bike, and thus far I feel comfortable, but I don't know exactly where I am.
Sunday's race will feature competition among cyclists from St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Barbados and Dominica. The 2017 OACS Cycling Championship is carried for Dominica on July 2 and not June 18 as previously announced. The change in date was made for the safety of the riders on the road with the anticipation of increased traffic flow in the Roseau area on Father's Day. And the first fencer to represent Dominica in outside competition is set to make more strides in the sport when he embarks on a 2-week épée training course soon. Cody Morris is a national fencer who made his debut on the international scene in 2016.
Cody is actually heading to an épée training course for coaches. So it's important for us to have coaches on the international level. When we were in Puerto Rico, we only had 3 fencers without a coach. I was the team manager, and that did have a difference in terms of our results. While we were fencing, other teams had their coaches, pointing out little things. And having a coach on the international level will do wonders for us.
Morris leaves for El Salvador on Saturday and is expected to return on May 30. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
We check in now with the Met Office for the latest weather update.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I will be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rock Korea. Today, a trough system was the dominant feature which affected weather conditions across Dominica. We move on now to some earlier infrared satellite imagery, and what we see is this area of multi-layered clouds to the north of Dominica associated with a trough system, and we see another area of multi-layered clouds to the southeast of Dominica, and that is associated with a tropical wave. Now, these two systems, the trough system and the tropical wave, are expected to converge later tonight into tomorrow. Therefore, much rainfall is expected. Models are predicting as an excess of 3 inches of rain tonight into tomorrow. Therefore, persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides and falling rocks, you are asked to be vigilant and to exercise extreme caution. We move on now to some earlier visible satellite imagery, and what we see is thunder cells embedded in this cloud mass associated with the trough system, and this trough system is expected to move southwards later tonight into tomorrow. Now, some earlier radar imagery of approximately 3:30 p.m. local time indicates shower activity across the Leeward Islands. The weather tonight is expected to be cloudy to overcast with moderate to heavy showers and possible thunderstorm activity. Maximum wind speeds are expected to peak up to 30 kilometers per hour. However, some higher gusts are expected near showers. Now, tomorrow, similar conditions are expected. Cloudy to overcast skies with moderate to heavy showers at times and possible thunderstorm activity expected again. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslide, and falling rocks are asked to exercise extreme caution. While small craft operators and sea bathers, please do exercise caution. The sea conditions tomorrow will be moderate, with waves peaking up to 7 feet. Let's take a look now at the weather for the weekend. For those of you interested in the cricket, and it's Mother's Day weekend as well. Tomorrow, Friday, as I said, cloudy to overcast with moderate to heavy showers at times with possible thunderstorm activity. By Saturday, it will be partly cloudy with scattered showers, mainly during the morning period. And by Sunday, beautiful weather expected. Partly cloudy skies with a few brief showers expected. Let's take a look now at the Caribbean forecast for tomorrow. Well, all the islands of the Lesser Antilles are expecting similar conditions. That is cloudy to overcast skies with showers and possible thunderstorm activity. Let's move on now to the international city forecast. Well, unlike us tomorrow, the cities of Beijing, New York, and Miami can expect sunny and partly cloudy skies. Cloudy skies with some rain expected in the city of London, and the city of Caracas can expect some cloudy skies with some thunderstorms. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:37 a.m. and will set at 6:26 p.m. For more information, you could always visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for your next weather broadcast. Thank you.
And to end the news, the headlines again. A senior doctor strongly objects to the Employers Federation's position that doctors grant sick leave loosely. A local government reform bill to be presented to Cabinet within the next 2 months, and the Minister for Tourism confident his request for an increased marketing budget will be approved. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our news or past newscasts on YouTube. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. To our viewers around the world, thank you for watching.